is Bandedwendy. It is I, Bandedwendy. This is part 2 of Too Tight Is Not Right. I had made part 2 of my car last week, but I need to revisit it. So here I am. I'll keep it short. So one of the questions I wanted to know is why is it or how is it that living at 6.25 cc's in my band for 8 or 9 months was fine, but when I was at 5.8 for 2 weeks, it was not fine. I wanted to understand that physically. How is that possible? Because for myself, you know, even 3 years into this game, I couldn't understand how it was so different, right? And so I want to encourage you all to make sure that you, when you have questions like that you do spend the time to ask your surgeon. Either you're paying for your appointment or your insurance is paying for your appointment. And when you have face-to-face time with your surgeon and you have questions, you need to ask them. Do not be afraid. Do not feel rushed. Be sure to take that time to ask any questions that you have. So I asked that question last week. The first thing I found out was that all of our stomachs are different. It's like our fingerprint to a certain degree. None of us have the same fingerprint. None of us have the same stomach. Our stomachs are always changing shape. They do not stay in one position and or one shape all the time. So depending on the day, the time of the day, the month, what you've ate, what you've drank, whatever, our stomachs are different. In fact, our bands are unique also. Even if we all have 10 cc Allergan LP or AP bands, does not mean that we're all the same. Doesn't mean it's positioned in the same place around our stomach. Doesn't mean it's, you know, it could be anywhere. So we should not compare our cc levels to one another, and nor should we compare what a fill feels like at a certain level, because our stomachs and our bands are unique to us. They are not the same. They are individual. So why was it different? How could 6.25 be so different than 5.8? Due to those two factors, right? I had been living with a pretty high cc fill level in my band for quite a long period of time. And I had some issues back in October with not being able to, I had some female issues going on, which swelled up my body, therefore my band got tighter, and I was traveling, so I got a full 1 cc unfilled so I wouldn't have any trouble while I was traveling. Well, when that happens, the band's going to stay in the same place, but the stomach may shift or move because the stomach's always shifting or moving. And if you think about it, the band, right, is resting around our stomach, creating that stoma. And if the stomach sometimes moves, because that's what it does naturally, for the most part, the band stays in the same place. And let's just call it a callus, for lack of the correct medical term. But, you know, when you wear a pair of shoes for a certain period of time, I know my running shoes, I develop a callus in certain parts of my foot, because that's where the foot and the shoe are rubbing. The same thing is technically happening to our stomach as it moves and shapes and the band stays in place. It's forming some type of a callus around our stomach. So when you take unfill, right, which is going to loosen the band and the stomach is going to do its shifting, right? So it's never going to be in the same spot that it was when I take out that whole 1 cc unfill. Therefore, the sensation is going to be different. So what I learned was I can't even compare 6.25 cc's from a year ago to 5.8 cc's now, because when I got that 1 cc unfill, I was pretty much starting at ground zero as far as where my stomach was in relation to my band. Not a bad thing, but just an educational piece that I wasn't aware of. And so I can't compare fill to fill. I can only compare in the moment, right now, the sensations I experience when I'm drinking, eating firm protein, how it goes down my esophagus, how it hits my stoma. And this experience, this weight loss surgery journey with the LapBand it's all about understanding mentally and physically those sensations, so that you know when to stop eating, so you don't PB, so that you know when you've had enough to eat, per se. So anyway, I just wanted to add that part of why is 6.25 so different. Remember, too tight is not right. Thanks. Bye.